prominent leader of the Madison community says the city can learn from what's happening in Ferguson, Missouri.
Now, tension in that city is still high tonight. Missouri's governor called in the National Guard to help calm the unrest. Authorities also set up a designated protest zone for the demonstrators, and the city's curfew has been lifted. There has been more than a week of protests following the shooting of an unarmed black teenager, 18-year-old Michael Brown, by a white police officer. The head of the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County spent the weekend in Ferguson.
He says he was asked to come and speak to local churches by the St. Louis Urban League. Pete Zervakis caught up with him today after he returned to Madison.
It didn't feel like a city in the United States.
Michael Johnson says the unrest in Ferguson, Missouri is startling, although it's not as widespread as this video makes it seem.
It's real, but it's not the entire city. So it's a small section of the city.
Demonstrations in Ferguson have been ongoing for more than a week.
Most of the people out there were very peaceful. There were some that I think are taking advantage of Mike Brown's death, and I think those folks need to be held accountable.
Some of the protests have been characterized by looting and damage to property. Johnson says he does not condone that, although he also says he was surprised to see law enforcement using tear gas and military vehicles.
I don't think that's the appropriate response.
He also says the unrest is very rough on police officers.
I talked to one officer, and he has literally worked, I think, 7 straight days nonstop.
And Johnson says all communities, including ours, can learn a lesson or two from what we're seeing in Ferguson.
Police officers are the authority figure, and I think that you have to be respectful. And I think on the law enforcement side, there's some police officers, and I'm friends with a lot of them, but I'll tell you, there's some that need training around cultural insensitivity.
Johnson says the Boys and Girls Club has a, quote, great relationship with local police here. He thinks building such relationships is one way to prevent tension between officers and civilians. Now, Johnson also helped with an effort locally to raise money for Michael Brown's family. They raised about $20,000, and when he went to Ferguson, he took it with him to present it to the family in person.
All right, Pete, thanks.